What's up, guys? Welcome to the Thursday morning Week 2 recap. Sorry, I'm a little late on the whole thing here. I meant to do it last night, but I instead passed out after playing video games for too long. Anyway, this week's theme is going to be how bad Kit is at picking teams. Not only his own, but also who will win on a weekly basis, and just in general how bad Kit is at life and other things surrounding Kit. Like lots of dicks, for example, which surround him regularly. We're going to jump right into last week's game. So Kit picked Derek to win. Derek played against Pick 6, Chris, I guess who he works with. It's unfortunate, Pick 6 started the wrong Murray. He started DeMarco instead of Latavius. Honestly, dude, I don't even know who you are, but you probably aren't going to win a whole lot with that roster. I'm not even sure who the fuck John Brown is. He's like the worst player on the cards, maybe. They put up 48 points last week, and he got a whopping 18.64 for you. So, yeah, I don't know. You might see if maybe there's some different Cardinals available. Maybe ones that actually catch the ball or contribute to the game plan, or just in general. Derek's shitty team underperformed across the board. Drew Brees is actively pillaging in and around his asshole, just like a little tiny white man named Kit carries Derek around in these shitty weekly recaps. A tinier, whiter man named Julian Edelman is trying to carry Derek's whole season. So, go Derek, except you lost terribly. Let's see, the next matchup, we've got Kit here against Lee. So this is like the 2 weeks where the guys that work together play. I'm sure you guys had a bunch of fun talking about how Kit and Derek, the established members of this league, both got shit on by the new guys. Because Kit picked himself to win, even though his team is total garbage. You kind of have to admire the confidence in the shitty draft. Kind of like how Kit's mother loves him, even though he's a complete failure at life. Actually, that might not be true. She didn't have any pictures of Kit last night while I was at her house, so maybe she doesn't actually love him that much. I was actually a little worried that I'd gone to the wrong place until she asked me to put it in her ass, and then I knew it was indeed Kit's mother. Lee had a monster game from Allen Robinson. Yep, that was a huge game from that guy. I'm not sure if that'll keep it up or not, but he definitely had a big game, and Derek also accurately predicted that Robbie DeGronk would burn the fields of Kit's hopes and dreams without contest, which he did. He actually survived, Lee did, getting -7 points from Adam Vinatieri, the most dropped kicker in Week 3. And also there's Aaron Rodgers on Lee's team, who, Aaron Rodgers is the fucking truth. That guy is amazing at football and by association fantasy. So he's got a decent team, but I'm not completely crazy about it. But anyway, Kit's team, about as expected on average, except for the mighty Buffalo defense, which got him 0.9 points. And honestly, that might have cost him the game. Buffalo's defense sucked it up against Tom Brady. Next matchup here, we've got Art against John. And Kit took Art because Kit clearly hasn't been in the league for the last 3 seasons, where Art has historically been awful. Both of the teams underperformed, but honestly, Art had a real shot to take the matchup if Eddie Lacy didn't get hurt so early. That might have cost him the game there. John picks up the win easily and remains in first place with his accurately named awesome team. John's awesome team. Awesome team. For John, Mr. Tom Brady carried the show, really. But unfortunately, by drafting and starting Tom Brady, John has effectively sold his soul to the devil, and it seems to be paying off. Anyway, so let's see. The next game here, Kit took James over Paul. James, even though he got I think 81 or 82 points from Antonio Brown, was hurt really bad by Romo's injury. He's also starting a guy named C. Johnson, and maybe he's confused. He thinks this is a running back for Arizona that actually gets points, but I think he's a wide receiver for Minnesota that doesn't. So, James, you might want to rethink that. I don't know what, sleeper guide or online thing indicated to you that this C. Johnson fellow was worth a shit, but not looking like it. I'm also curious when Pete Carroll said earlier this year that Jimmy Graham was going to do more blocking, if you thought he was just bluffing about the 2,000 yards and 36 touchdowns he was going to get this year. It just looked like Jimmy Graham blocked his way into a 4.3 point game. So, yeah, That's pretty rough. I wonder why Seattle traded for him if they didn't want to use that giant ginger man. Who knows? Anyway, Paul's team, Sue Cups One Girl, as Kit named them on the weekly recap last week, went off pretty much across the board. Looks like Julio Jones and Matty Ryan. Yep, they're definitely looking like a solid recipe for some weekly fantasy points. So, also the fact that Cleveland's defense put up 64 against Marcus Mariota. Yeah, I don't know. I think the matchup was over before it even started, really. I would have never taken James over Paul. But, again, Kit's retarded, and he took the loser yet again. Let's see. The next matchup here, we have Dennis. Who did Dennis play? Oh, that's right. He played me. Fuck, I almost forgot because it didn't matter who I played this week. I probably would have beaten them. Looks like Dennis, you took a 100-point loss. That's good. Better luck next time, Dennis. My team actually decided to perform this week as opposed to last week. Dennis' teams also performed this week, as it should. Kit is apparently drinking too much of that orange and blue Kool-Aid. It looks like the Broncos and C.J. Anderson and Peyton Manning really aren't going to be the fantasy juggernauts that they were last year. Kit basically thought that a wide receiver group of Pierre Garcon and Anquan Bolden was better than Randall Cobb and Megatron in picking Dennis over me. So, again, I don't get it. You've got Bishop Sankey. Okay. He had a great week last week, but clearly you didn't watch any football last year. Bishop Sankey is fucking awful. And basically, what happened was the 8.36 points from C.J. Anderson was not enough to stop the Mighty Space Popes. We just dished out justice from outer space with our fucking, space lizard Jesus guy, and there we are. But basically, Kit's just really bad at fantasy football, Dennis, and anytime he picks you, you're probably fucked. I go ahead and move into third place, and Dennis falls all the way down to 12th. Sorry, Dennis. Let's see. Next matchup here, we've got Reeve against Garrison. Kit took Reeve to win. More on that in just a minute. Reeve's team basically shit the bed. This is my son right here. The double bagel that Reeve got from Dwayne Allen and Mike Evans really didn't help him out much. As expected, if you have two players that get you 0 points, you're probably going to lose. Garrison's team essentially proved that he didn't need to start two players, unlike Reeve, and he still would have won. I think actually any two players on Garrison's team could have been benched, and he still would have won that game. Yeah. So he's proven why he's the reigning fantasy football champion of this league, something that some people around here seem to forget. He put up the highest points for the week at 306.23, and Reeves' team actually put up the lowest points at 122.76. Which, honestly, Reeve, if this was a standard league, you'd be in fucking business. But unfortunately, here in Derek's world, where we get drunk and decide a scoring system, just for fucking fun, that's a pretty shitty score. So, you drop down to 11th, Reeve, and Garrison rises up to 6th place. Joins most of the league at 1-1. So here we are. We're looking at Kit's picks from last week. He took Art, James, Dennis, Reeve, Garrett, and of course himself to win. All of those teams lost. They all lost. They completed the 0-6 cycle in Kit's pick 6. Kit, you should just rename it like Kit curses your team, or Kit has no fucking idea what's going on, or Kit picks the 6 teams that will lose, or just a simple, hi, I'm Kit and I'm gay, and I drink pink drinks on weekly recaps because of my gayness. I think you and that faggot Derek should just go get gay married and stop playing fantasy football. And then you don't have to worry about recaps because you can just focus on what's truly important in your lives, which are balls and dicks in and around your mouth and asshole. Thanks. Yeah, sorry guys. Everybody can tell that you plow each other on a nightly basis. And the thing is, you both get so drunk that you just can't tell, but when you wake up in the morning, you know. So, again, we've got my little guy here. Thank God he can't talk very much yet. Otherwise, I'd be in a complete, yeah. So, let's see. This week, we've got 3rd place and 2nd place with me and Paul. I think we both got 2 solid squads. I got to give myself the edge. I think Matt Forte is being very generously forecasted to get 30-plus points. They got Jimmy Clossy starting at quarterback. You got Alshon Jeffrey out. They're playing at Seattle, who's 0-2 and probably pissed, and likely should be because they played like shit so far. I don't have a lot of faith in LaShawn McCoy, who really hasn't looked that good through his first 2 games, and I kind of had marked as a do not draft guy in the draft. I took myself to win. I think it'll be close, though, and I think it could really go bad for me this week because I have a lot of guys playing against solid defenses. Derek against Art. Ladarius Green, the San Diego tight end, is poised for a huge week, Derek. A huge week against Minnesota. You should definitely start that guy. It also looks like Derek is all in on the Patriots. He's got their defense, kicker, and number 1 wide receiver. I didn't know Derek was a huge Pats fan. The good news is the Pats play the Jaguars this week. So, the bad news, though, is that the Jaguars don't look like a JV football team. They've actually looked okay. I think they won last week. So, I think we secretly all cheer for Blake Bortles and the Jaguars because fuck the Patriots, with the exception of maybe Paul because Paul. I'm going to take Art to pull this one out. I think if Derek starts a tight end who might actually play, it might be a close game. But for right now, looking at the rosters and who's starting, Derek doesn't have a tight end on his bench, so I'm assuming he'll pick up whatever asshole's available and just try to squeak out, 10, 12 points. I don't know, but Drew Brees is just, he's still living in 2009. He needs to get his shit together. I don't know what's going on in New Orleans. I honestly haven't watched a single game, but from what I've seen on recaps and things like that, they just look awful. They look really bad. So, the good news is they won the Super Bowl 6 years ago, and I guess everybody in New Orleans is still pretty excited about that. Yeah. Let's see, next game, we got Lee versus Chris in the Battle of the New Guys. I think you guys work together with Derek and Kit, and I apologize for that. I wouldn't want to see both of those fucking queers on a daily basis, but, more power to you. I don't really care who wins. I don't really know you guys, so, somebody's going to win, that's for sure. I don't think we can have a tie in this league with the weird fractional scoring. But I think Chris probably has the advantage. Actually, no, I think Lee has the advantage here. Chris, who at least named his team something other than Christopher's team, probably won't see another huge week out of Moncrief. He might, but yeah, and I don't have a lot of faith in Peyton Manning and the noodle arm. I think at some point he's going to literally disintegrate on the field, just vanish, fucking Jedi style. And, Emmanuel Sanders and C.J. Anderson and that other giant guy on their team, what's his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. He's Demaryius Thomas. I can never remember that dude's fucking name. That's probably because I don't care about him because he's not a good fantasy receiver this year. But yeah, I think once Peyton Manning falls apart, inevitably those guys are all going to continue their downward trend. Once I think Brock Osweiler is the backup, and yeah, so whoever the fuck that is. Lee's got Robbie DeGronk. So if Chris's team overperforms again, he'll probably take it. But I don't think that he's got enough to overcome Lee's team. He's just got too many awesome players. Next matchup, we've got John against James. James, in a bold move, is going to start Travis Benjamin. Unfortunately, James, it looks like the Browns are actually going to go back with McCown. I think it's McCown, yeah, who had a concussion last week, so that's why they started Johnny Football. I don't know what they've got in Benjamin right now without Johnny Football extending plays while Benjamin runs his ass down the field, college style. But if fantasy's taught me a thing or two in the past, the punt return thing is kind of a fickle beast. Once other teams figure out, oh yeah, punt returns, blah, 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 then they start kicking the ball out of bounds. It's unfortunate, but there's not a lot of guys in the league who, just consistently get punt return after punt return. If you're too good, they'll just kick it out of bounds and say, fuck it, you can have it 10 yards closer, and there you go. So, yeah, and John, who went to a Cowboys preseason game, a team that he absolutely could care less about, especially in the preseason, because he wanted to be a good guy to his girlfriend there. Auto-drafted his team, as I think we all know, and he's got a pretty good team. Unlike some other people that auto-drafted 7 kickers, John drafted himself a championship quality team. I think he's got a little bit of a problem, though, in that he doesn't have a lot of depth outside of his quarterback position. So if anybody gets hurt, John's going to really take it on the chin. He's probably going to lose 10, 20, 30 points a week from, swapping out a position with a significantly less player in terms of fantasy value. But yeah, I'm taking John. I'm taking John against James. Sorry, James. I know I've known you for probably 20 years now, but it's not looking good, buddy. Let's see. Next matchup, we got Garrison versus Dennis. I mean, it's got to be Garrison. Dennis has an awful team. I don't know how Kit looked at that roster last week and decided it was good enough to win any games, but yeah, I have no faith in that team. He actually benched C.J. Anderson this week in favor of that random running back in Washington who kind of showed up last week. And, you know, I guess that's good. It's a bold move. I don't think it'll be enough, but I think Street Lamp Lamoose will take it in a landslide. And then the last matchup here, we've got Kid against Reeve, who, while it pains me to say it, is actually going to be a pretty good matchup. Le'Veon Bell, the first overall pick in the draft, is back, and Reeve's hopes return along with it. Right now, Reeve is in 11th place in the basement of the league, hanging out with Dennis. They're just jerking each other off down there, watching old shitty fucking movies on VHS. I think Kit might actually crawl out this week to punch Kit in the balls a couple times. Maybe Mike Evans actually play. That'd be interesting. Kit managed to draft a somewhat respectable team, but, you know, again, you got Peyton Manning, and he's on my list of, you know, the no-fly zone. I don't think he makes it through the year. If he does, great. If he doesn't, yeah, you're going to be starting fucking somebody. I don't know who, but it ain't going to be Peyton Manning. So, you know, it's just weird. This is such a weird matchup to me. I think the teams are pretty evenly matched. I think they're both playing against some solid defenses, but I'm going to take Reeve in a win with Le'Veon Bell coming back. But that could change if the Mike Evans thing fucks him again, so we'll see. Anyway, that concludes the recap for this week and next week's picks. We'll see if I can do better than 0-6 as Kit did last week. Could be interesting. We'll see what happens. So, good luck to everybody, except for whoever's playing me. I don't even remember who that is. Oh, it's Paul. Yeah, fuck you, Paul. Fuck the Patriots. That's right, baby. See this right here? That's a 2 and a 2. That's Emmitt Smith. He's the NFL's all-time leading rusher, and he's also not on a team that was proven to be full of cheating faggots repeatedly. So, you know, go Patriots. Hey!